All right. First and foremost, I'm gonna say all praises be to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakah, Kodash. And then I'm gonna say double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the sincere elect, teaching us truth and faith and sincerity. Quick topic I want to speak on and build on is based upon the scripture in Ecclesiasticus, the 25th chapter and the 7th verse. And it's, just on the mindset of the fall of Esau, the fact that we're in them days and in the time where he's fallen before our face, whereas we're in the last literally couple of weeks, months, of this kingdom, and how he's just been set up for a very great fall. I mean, Esau, especially starting off with Babylon the Great, which of course, is America. But Esau, like in general, man, I've been, puffed up and proud for a very long time. They always talk about their ancient periods and, Greece and then Rome and the Renaissance and colonialism, conquering many countries and many nations, so, whether it's, Great Britain, the Dutch, putting, the Belgian, peoples and such, of course, the Pilgrims, destroying the Native Americans, transatlantic slavery, and gaining a mass amount of riches. And they truly didn't ever believe that they'll be going down. And of course, you have these elites that know what we talk about and know what we teach and know that the Lord is coming back, but they, through pride, still think there is a way to outsmart the inevitability of them going down, and it's beautiful. Which meant the main scripture that comes to mind, which I was going to read, is Psalms the 73rd chapter. Which is why it's important to be spiritual, which is why it's important for the Lord to put the Spirit upon you to understand this word and this truth. Because if you look at Esau from a logical standpoint, from a carnal standpoint, it's like, how is this man ever going to go down? With his military, his weapons, his drones, his this and that. But on a spiritual eye, and knowing the words of prophecy, knows that Esau is going down, and we're seeing it happen. Egyptian is divided against Egyptian. Now we're seeing the isolation of Babylon the Great and the state of Israel from the rest of NATO, EU. Just as you seen the split. Over this controversy in Palestine, and then we'll see the recent attacks. In Iran and that whole situation in terms of the Strait of Hormuz and how it's going to affect everybody. We're actually seeing this house of Esau is just split, and it's beautiful, man. So, first scripture I'm gonna get is Ecclesiasticus 25 and 7. There be 9 things which I imagine. Sorry, there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th will I utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And we're in the last days of the last days. We're in the last couple of seconds. Esau's about to crash his system, and then bring forth the mark of the beast, which is the RFID implantable chip. Which culminates with the World War III, because again, the mark of the beast has to come to pass before World War III, in terms of the hot end of World War III takes place, which is when Babylon the Great is turned into a lake of fire. Well, this is no more something that's afar off. All right, or 15 years from now, or 20 years from now. No, these are we're seeing it. we've been talking about the least of the flock shall draw them out. Well, the least of the flock has drawn them out, and we're seeing, nations, gathering to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Lord's judgment. So it's beautiful, man. So it says, and he that liveth to see the fall, of his enemy. You see, and we're seeing that. All of this wealth Esau and his elites they've amassed, thinking that they are never going down, thinking that they will never be judged, thinking that they'll never be held accountable. Well, we're seeing that happen. The Lord's about to hold them accountable with the return of his son. How is shy, man? Right? That's exactly what's about to take place. All right, and it's beautiful, man. So the scripture that really inspired this, the Psalms, the 73rd chapter. All right, I'm gonna start from the top. Truly, the Most High is good to Israel, right? Exactly, because those are His chosen people, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped, for I was envious of the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Yeah, and who's the wicked? The seed of the wicked is Esau. Edom. You know, we've seen the head start that Esau has had, and if we look at all Gentile nations, the statue of Daniel, in terms of like major kingdoms of rulership, Esau, right, has had them most time. If you compile, Alexander the Great, the Greeks, Rome, and the extension of Rome, which is now, they've had the most time. But as the scripture says, when the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases. As the scripture says in Maccabees, and evils multiplied upon the earth. So they've had a big head start, and it's well manifest that look, with these men rule, nothing but evil and wickedness increases. For there are no bands in death, but their strength is firm. You know what? Yeah, let me read this in the NLT and see how it turns out. So this is Psalms 73 and 1 on down. It says, "Truly, the Most High is good to Israel, to those whose hearts are pure. But as for me, I almost lost my footing. My feet were slipping, and I was almost gone, for I envied the proud when I saw them prosper despite their wickedness." Yeah, you see, like a person without understanding, you know, thinking of things from so-called world logic and say carnal standpoint, you might be like, how these guys got away with? I mean, not even including Greece and Rome. But let's just bring it up now. Past 400-500 years, they've just amassed wealth, changed cultures, removed landmarks, changed maps, stolen history, murder, vindictive behavior, it like imposed nothing but trauma and wickedness upon the planet, and they still do it. Getting away with it. You know what I mean? Like a person that doesn't have the spirit of the Lord and just thinking from just a 1+1 equals 2. Just a logical. You'd be like, how the fuck? Why? Like, who's gonna judge these people? You know, they've destroyed the food, they've destroyed water, they've destroyed everything. They've destroyed the quality of life. Peace doesn't exist in this world. Microplastics, microplastics, condoms, paperwork, GMO food, passports, just the whole bullshit. Right? It says they seem to live such painless lives. Yeah, you know, Jake in his system has to work 50 times harder and still can't catch a break. The toxic foods that they push forth, it just affects Jake on a deeper level because we are a cleaner people. You know, even the way food responds to our body is different than these weaklings, man. So the toxic shit, man, affects us, worse essentially. You know, it's deep, man. Like, I mean, Esau's got experiments where he actually targets certain, like does, targets how certain foods affect certain like genes and stuff like that, man. Esau knows, man. You know, we're very special people, man. They're like a clean people. So that's why the toxic, unclean foods affect us on a deeper level, man. I mean, even though just on a side note, spiritual how in the scriptures, if an animal dies of itself, you can't give it to an Israelite, but you can give it to a heathen. It tells you something, man. Anyway, it says they seem to, live such painless lives. Their bodies are so healthy and strong, right? They don't seem to have troubles like other people, especially in comparison to Jake. They are not plagued with problems like everyone else. They wear pride like a jeweled necklace and clothe themselves with cruelty. Yeah, that's Esau. You know, they ain't got the same problems as we do. Living paycheck to paycheck. And just being a proverb and a byword for earth. Everywhere you go, amongst all the peoples, you're known as the lowest people. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And wherever you go, Esau is worshipped. But hey, now them curses has been put upon them. The earth is manifest that this guy is the devil. So no one likes his ass no more, man. And even Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, right? The beauty of Chaldees excellency, right? The golden city. Now it's being isolated and despised. And if Babylon goes down, all Esau's power structure, his kingdom goes down. His Satan be divided against Satan, then how can his kingdom stand? And here it is, these elites, they are thinking, yeah, everything's going plan to plan. They're going to crash the system and bring forth to a new system, not knowing that the Lord is on his way. And in the midst of when the mark of the beast gets established, in the midst of World War III, just before Babylon the Great is destroyed, the Lord is going to come and beam up his elect. That's what's going to happen, man. But it's comforting knowing that fall is taking place, man, and that we're living it out. It says they don't have trouble like other people. They are not plagued with problems like everyone else. They wear pride like a jewel necklace and clothe themselves in cruelty. These fat cats have everything their hearts could ever wish for. They scoff and speak only evil. Yeah, exactly. Scoff and speak only evil because they truly don't believe that they are ever going down. In their pride, they seek always to crush others. They boast against the very heavens. Yeah, you know, that's exactly what they do. As far as to believe that even if the Lord is coming back, that they somehow can, you know, fight against him. But but they are gonna realize that, man, they're simply gonna be lose and crushed, and their words struck throughout the earth, and so the people are dismayed and confused, drinking in all their words. What does God know? They ask. Does the Most High even know what's happening? Look at these wicked people enjoying a life of ease while their riches multiply, and it's true. People that don't have the truth and don't have the understanding, they actually truly ask this a question. They say, "Oh, you know, what does God know? Does the Most High even know? You know what's happening?" They're like, "Wow," because they can just, you know, murder and lie about it, murder and get away scot free, murder and just you know, pretend like nothing's happened, man. You see, did I keep my heart pure for nothing? Did I keep myself innocent for no reason? I get, yeah, because it's like in this world, if you push righteousness and you depart from the path of evil, as the scriptures say, you know, you make it yourself a prey, man. All right. It says, I get nothing but trouble all day long. Every morning brings me pain. If I had really spoken this way to others, I would have been a traitor to your people. So I tried to understand why the wicked prosper. But what a difficult task it is. Then I went into your sanctuary, O Most High, and I finally understood the destiny of the wicked. So we understand the destiny of the wicked, and that's what gives us comfort. Because, bro, if you just think from a carnal, a logical, you know, worldly perspective, it's like, bro, how the hell are these guys gonna go down? How is it easy? Like, and it's true. That's why you actually think it's like, yo, there were loads of Israelites, man, that don't have this truth, that have basically, you know, they've given up essentially. They're just comfortable being in slavery. They see 1,000-year plan in this kingdom. You know, they see a 50-year plan in this kingdom, a 20-year plan in this kingdom. When 20 years from now, we hope is the 20th year of being in the kingdom. You know what I mean? Not being under Esau's rulership. But the thing is, what's comforting is this truth, because you know that wickedness is unsustainable and this kingdom is going down. It says, then I went into your sanctuary, O Most High, and I finally understood the destiny of the wicked. Truly, you put them on a slippery path and send them sliding over the cliff to destruction. Yeah, because that's what's happened. If you see the tensions that's happening within the EU and NATO against Babylon and the state of Israel, right? You see the global instability in terms of the Strait of Hormuz and the coming economic hardships that's about to happen, you know, and then you marry in with, more plagues and pestilences and outbreaks and so much stuff. It's like, wow, man, these guys don't know that they think they are gonna rise out of this as the phoenix, you know, where it just crashes and burns, and out of it rises. But guess what? That ain't what's gonna happen. You know, the damn essentially gonna be supplanted, man. whilst he's eating, that's when the Lord gon' cast the fury upon him, man. It says truly you put them on a slippery path and send them sliding over the cliff to destruction. In an instant, they are destroyed, completely swept away by terrorists, and that's what's gonna happen, because in these underground bunkers and stuff where they shall be, though they dig into hell, as the scripture says, then shall my hand take them. It says, in an instant they are destroyed, completely swept away by terrors. When you arise, O Lord, you will laugh at their silly ideas, as a person that laughs at dreams in the morning. Then I realized that my heart was bitter, and I was all torn up inside. I was so foolish and ignorant. I must have seemed like a senseless animal to you. Yet I belong to you. You hold my right hand. You guide me with your counsel. Yeah, because obviously you might be thinking, oh man, this I was thinking, that. But now you have the understanding, man. It's truly comforting. Knowing that no matter what, this dude is going down. And it actually brings me to Revelation 6:14, and it says, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and every island were moved out of their places. Yeah, man, when them nukes go off. And the kings on the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Yeah, because certain parts of the earth that they've got, with underground bunkers and cities, that's where they gonna be, thinking that they can hide from the wrath of the Lamb. But what does the scripture say? And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is coming. Who shall be able to stand? And as the scripture says, though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. So really, man, Esau's through. He truly can't escape his destiny, which is to be taken down. Esau and his elites to be taken down, to bind their kings with chains and nobles with fetters of iron, and then after a certain period of time to be destroyed. Job 5 and 19. No, I mean, why is he eating? Oh yeah, Job 5 and 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, that so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. Yeah, because again, they got their plans and they got their agendas. They boast against the Most High, saying that they can do this and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. But within their plans and trickery that they got, they're just going to be cast down, man. They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope as in the night. Yeah, them secret counsels, man. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of their mighty. Yeah, so their plans and agendas ain't gonna come to pass as they think, and they ultimately can't do anything to the Lord's elect. And even those that die, they're gonna be raised up straight away. All right. Job 5 and 19. He says, "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch you." Yeah. And when them nukes go off, the Lord is gonna beam up his elect, man. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, Neither shall thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. So his plans and agendas ain't gonna take place against us. The Lord's gonna have mercy on his elect, and like and protect his elect, and especially from them missiles, man. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shall be afraid of the beast of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation and not sin. Yeah, so our the tabernacles is gonna be in peace. But in regards unto Esau, there is no peace. Jake, there is no peace to the wicked. It's real like that. So it's comforting knowing in the midst of all things, we know that his destiny is to go down, and we're just seeing it happen before our eyes, and it's beautiful, man, and it's really comforting to just know it's happening, man. So all we got to do is wait, stay patient, stay prayed up, and obviously hope and pray whoever's elect. But it's beautiful, man. So with that, like I just wanted to build a lesson off a couple of scriptures. I had something else, another precept on mine, but it just seemed like it slipped. So all right, cool. So with that, I'm gonna say all praises be to how about Shimon Shai by Shimon Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, great most on to next time. I'm gonna say Shalom.